Welcome to episode 33 of the Burnout Expert Podcast, Sleepless in Burnout, where we are exploring the link between restless leg syndrome and exhaustion. Now, over the years that I have been coaching in burnout, I have had numerous clients who have who are, when they're listing their symptoms to me, they have told me when we start getting to sleep and sleep patterns that one of the reasons that they can't sleep is because of restless leg syndrome. And many of them also shared their frustrations with being prescribed medicine or different remedies from their doctor, and nothing seemed to help. And it was playing a big factor in their sleep. So this week as well, I had yet another conversation with an individual who is in burnout and going through their list of symptoms. And when we were talking about sleep, they mentioned restless leg syndrome. So I really knew that I had to do an episode on this because it is very common. And most people don't realize that there is a link to restless leg syndrome and stress, long-term stress and burnout. So let's first tackle what is restless leg syndrome. So restless leg syndrome, it's when you get this uncontrollable urge to move your legs. When you're quite often, it's when you're sleeping or it's in the evening. So you get this really, really uncomfortable sensation quite often. I've heard it described as it being like pain, or almost like it feels like, for some, they've told me that it's like their nerves are almost on fire. And it's a very, very unpleasant feeling where they just feel like they constantly have to move their legs while they're sleeping and they can't get to sleep, or they're woken up when they're sleeping. Now, the thing is with restless leg syndrome is the first thing that we always have them do is to start taking magnesium. And the reason is that there is a big link between magnesium deficiency and restless leg syndrome. So magnesium plays a huge role in muscle contractions, and it helps also your muscles relax. So if we go back to that definition, it almost feels like the muscles, the nerves are firing. So it's almost like there's this firing to contract your muscles, but the contraction isn't happening. You're just needing to constantly move. So if we think about this, if magnesium is supposed to help with the muscle contracting, it actually relaxes your muscles. And every single time that your stress system kicks in, magnesium is actually released into your bloodstream. And magnesium is released so that once the stress is over, that it can actually relax, so that there's a balance between the stress system in firing things out and relaxation in your system. And when we get people with long-term stress, they do become magnesium deficient. Now, that being said, the majority of people in North America are actually magnesium deficient, stress or no stress. Reason is that it is hard to get the required daily amount by the FDA for magnesium through food. The amount of calories that you would have to ingest is huge. It's huge for restless leg syndrome. It's huge for magnesium. And it is next to impossible to get the amount of magnesium that your body requires on a daily basis. You may on some days get the required amount, but not on a consistent enough basis, even if you're eating the healthiest of all healthy. So the majority of people are already deficient in magnesium. And then you add in stress, and the fact that the magnesium is released every time that your stress response kicks in. And that just exacerbates this magnesium deficiency, which then one of the symptoms of magnesium deficiency is restless leg syndrome. Now, we also dive into with clients when they're struggling to fall asleep that quite often they get these revolving thoughts. We call it the tired and wired, can't wait, can't fall asleep. That often goes hand in hand with restless leg syndrome, which is also when somebody takes magnesium. Now I'm going to go through magnesium and the types of magnesium that's really key. When somebody starts taking magnesium, it sends a signal to the frontal lobe of your brain that cortisol, which is your stress hormone, your energy hormone, I'm awake and have energy hormone, that it can start calming down. When it is floating around in the frontal lobe of your brain, you're thinking about all of your to-do lists, everything you need to do. You may be thinking about your stressors. You may be thinking about big things, but it could be the smallest things that you're thinking about. Your brain just won't shut off. So you're thinking. And when we take magnesium, then it signals for the brain to start slowing down. And we find that people, when they do, are up to the required levels of magnesium that their body requires, that they're able to fall asleep easier once they take magnesium. Now, that being said, there's all kinds of other things too. We need to make sure that they're doing other things that are correct before their sleep as well. We need to make sure that the nervous system's not kicking in all the time. Like, there's other factors. So what I'm saying to you right now, I'm not saying like, hey, go and get magnesium and it's going to solve all your sleep problems. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that there is a link to tired and wired, struggling to fall asleep. And there is a link to restless leg syndrome with magnesium deficiency. So definitely try it if you'd like to. I am not a medical doctor. I am not telling you to take supplements or do anything. Always consult with your doctor or your functional practitioner beforehand. You are not my client. I haven't gone through your health history or anything like that. So definitely, I'm just giving you information right now. So the thing with magnesium as well, if you do decide that you would like to start taking it to see about restless leg syndrome, or to maybe help with the tired and wired before falling asleep, know that as well that it may help with some of these things, but not 100%, because you may always be kicking yourself into a stress state. It may not be fully because of a magnesium deficiency for the restless leg syndrome, but it's really a simple thing to try. As well as falling asleep, there are other factors that also do mess up you falling asleep. So we need to account for those, but this will hopefully help you and give you some relief. So the requirements, according to the FDA, is 200 to 400 milligrams of magnesium for adult females, 400 to 600 milligrams for adult males. Now, with magnesium, there are types of magnesium, and this is very, 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 very important, because I don't get this one. There's one that is called Calm. And the thing is that it's really well named, and people are like, oh, I need magnesium. I'm going to go and grab this bottle of Calm. That obviously is the best one because I'm looking for it to calm my nervous system, to calm me to go to sleep. But the thing is that it really does calm your colon down. So it is actually magnesium citrate. And magnesium citrate is great at loosening your bowels, loosening your stool. So if you are constipated, absolutely, it's a great one for you to try. But if you are not constipated, or if you need larger doses of it as well, it could send you to the loo before you actually are getting the right amount of magnesium into your system. As well, magnesium citrate it is not the type that is for restless leg syndrome, and it does not always help with the tired and wired, which is why I'm like, they're marketing this as Calm, but it's not the one that will calm your brain to fall asleep. So it's just great marketing. Do be careful with the magnesium citrate and the loosening of the bowels. It can be tough. It can get you into some tricky situations. So what you would be looking for is a magnesium biglycinate, BIS, bisglycinate, biglycinate, BIS, glycinate, that or a magnesium threonate. those two types, magnesium biglycinate is easier to find, and it is it's also less expensive. That being said, make sure you're buying a third-party tested brand. So third-party tested, what I mean by that is it's not tested in-house. So Costco, Walmart, any of those, like the vitamin shops, Popeyes, what do we have here? GNC, what we have in Canada. A lot of theirs that are like their in-house brands, or a lot of the brands that they carry, quite a few, not all, some of them are good third-party tested, but many of those brands are actually tested in-house. So what that means is that they can work the results of that testing to work for them. So it may not be the quality or strain of whatever that vitamin is saying that it is. It may not be that the dosage is the same. So when I'm saying 200 to 400 milligrams for an adult female, you might be thinking, hey, I'm taking 200 milligrams, but because it's tested in-house, one may be 150 and another might be 250. That, depending on the supplement, that can make a big difference. It can also, where it might work one day and not work another day, and you're confused as to why is this working and not working. And it could just be because the quality of what is in, the dosage of what is in that pill is not consistent, that it's not giving you consistent results. So you actually think the supplement's not working. Meanwhile, it was because it wasn't a quality brand that it wasn't working, but not that magnesium biglycinate or another supplement that you're taking is not working. The other thing as well is when there might be a lot of fillers in it, and they may exclude that in their report. And fillers may, it's how they bring down the cost of supplements to make them cheaper. So you do want to make sure that it's third-party tested. When it comes to magnesium biglycinate, the brand that I like the best is called CanPrev. It's a Canadian brand. And the reason I like it is it's 200 milligrams. So it's so much easier if you just take 2 pills, if you're doing 400, 3 pills, if you're doing 600. Whereas a lot of the other third-party tested brands, really good brands, we've got Thorne, we have AOR. Oh man, my mind's blanking on brands, and I know all of these. I can picture them in my head right now as I'm saying them. Thorne, AOR, CanPrev. There's so many brands out there. If you go to a really reputable, not a Costco, not a Walmart, not a Shoppers, not like your regular drugstore. That being said, I have heard that CVS in the States actually has really good reputable brands. But you just go into a really good health food store and ask them what their third-party tested brands are. You will be able to get a magnesium biglycinate. The thing is most of them will be like 125 milligrams. So like if you're taking 400 or 600, that's like a lot of pills. So that's why I like CanPrev. Honestly, is the math is easier. It's a third-party tested. It's actually really good pricing as well. You can find it on a lot in the States. You can find it on a lot of the really good online dispensaries. iHerb, I think, VitaSave, I think, carries it, but you can search online and find it on some really good reputable sites online in Canada. It's available in all of our like healthy, pretty much any health food shop will have it. I even think Shoppers Drug Mart does carry it. Walmart may even carry it, but it is a third-party tested brand. So just so that you know that. Make sure that it is a good quality magnesium biglycinate. Do know, like, this is kind of a Band-Aid solution if we're thinking of this for falling asleep. We really need to start diving into why the heck. Well, if you're deficient in magnesium only because you aren't getting enough in your diet, then that's great. That's amazing. And then this isn't a Band-Aid solution. It really is hard to get the amount of magnesium in your diet. But if it is because you are at burnout, if it is because you are in a stressed state, then we need to start thinking about how are there ways that we can start pulling out stress from your day so you're not in your stress system. And that's where I spoke about in the last episode, and I've spoke about it in many episodes before this as well, where it is about starting to train that nervous system. So the first thing I always do with clients, which I mentioned last time, is breathing through your nose, not your mouth. And then we start training your resting system. We train your resting system to become stronger and switch you out of that stressed state, which nose breathing does. So that's the first step, is to switch you from being in that stress state as often and into a resting state. Then we start looking at all of the stress triggers in your life, and we start figuring out which ones can we start decreasing for you. Is it that we need to start working on gut as well and help to support you, and hormones to support you? Because if your gut is a mess, which long-term stress happens, leads into gut distress, which we have done an episode on that as well. And then you're not able to actually absorb the nutrients. So you're absorbing even less from your food, even if you are eating really healthy, which depletes your magnesium even more. So we really need to dive in and figure out, why was your magnesium depleted? Again, if it was just that you are eating healthy, you don't have a lot of stress, you're not in burnout, then the magnesium biglycinate may be all that you need, and you might be good. But the odds are, if you're listening to this, you're in burnout. So there are more steps that we need to do. This is one step. So definitely go try it, implement it. Let me know how it goes. Email me. My email is down in the show notes, Andi, ANDI, at 911lifestyle.com. Email me and tell me how it works for you. And the thing is if it's not fully working for you, if it's giving you some relief, then that is letting us know that we need to do things to stop your stress system from firing, to decrease the stress in your system, in order to make sure that you're not flying through magnesium during your day, so that the magnesium can start helping you more and more as a supplement as well. So there are other steps to take. I don't want to mislead you and think this is like some magic pill. Magic pills do not exist. When you're in burnout, we need to dive in. We need to really figure out, where are your stressors? What can we do for you? What changes can we make that are simple and easy at the start? Where can we start giving you more support in your stress system? And how can we start working to get you out of burnout, get your stress system stronger, so that you are sleeping, repairing and healing while you're sleeping, waking with energy, calm, focused, productive, happy, engaged in life again. Okay. So try this out. Let me know how it goes. If you do want to work with me, then there is a link to book a 15-minute call with me. That 15-minute call is where we'll kind of just see if we might be a good fit for one another, and if where you're at is where my services may be able to help you. If so, great. We'll dive into step 2. If not, I'll let you know. And I have tons of referrals in all sorts of different situations that can seem like burnout or that may be going on with you. And I will try my best to get you into the best person for you, if I know after speaking with you that it's not me. If we both do feel that it's me after speaking, then we would book a free session where I will dive into your history, your stress history, your symptoms, all that's been going on with you, what you've tried, what you haven't tried. And then I'll be able to link a lot of your symptoms together, figure out where you're at, and start to strategize a plan with you. If you do agree with that plan, then we can work together. And I'm booking individual sessions. I book blocks of sessions, 6 or 10 sessions together. 6 sessions need to be used within 3 months. 6 sessions need to be used within 6 months. And we go through all of these steps together at a pace that works for you, making sure everything is tailored to you and your needs. So that starts with booking a 15-minute call with me. That starts in, that link is in the show notes. So book that call if you are wanting to even find out if what I do is the right step for you. I'll be honest with you. I'm not in this just to, be selling to everybody and working with everyone. I'm here to work with people that are in deep burnout and definitely need my help and guidance while you put in the work in order to get your life back, get that joy back in life. So go to the show notes and click on that link if you're interested, or my calendar link to book a call with me. And I look forward to speaking with you. If you have questions, my email is down below as well, Andi at 911lifestyle.com. If you do try this magnesium, let me know how it goes. If you have any other questions for me too, fire them at me and I will answer them for you. All right. Thank you for listening with me today, and I will see you in the next episode.